Good morning. Welcome, everyone, to the Merry Monday Mailcall Show. This is still only 35 cents. I'm your host, Dave. It's really good to see you all. I hope you are well. For this one, we have a what if. I've got a few what if issues to share with you, a couple of little pickups. But the main point of today's show is to announce the giveaway winner of our recent 2,000 subscriber giveaway. So I wanted to thank you again to everybody that's taken part and been part of the channel as we've grown. I want to thank you very, very much. It's been an awesome journey. I met a lot of new people, and may that continue to our next goal, which I'm not going to go for 3,000. I think we're going to go 5,000. That is the next goal. So hopefully we'll get there at some point. But thank you again to everyone who's joined on the live streams, on the videos, left comments. It's been an absolute brilliant thing. Speaking of comments, I'm well behind in terms of responding, so I will be getting to that. I have a little bit of time off in the next couple of weeks, so I will take that as an opportunity to respond to each and every one of you. It's something I've been doing on the channel since day one, and I really do enjoy getting comments from all of you. So again, thank you very much for that. I debated with how we were going to structure today's show, and I thought we'd go through the books first. Make that pretty brief, be a short show, I think, just in case, because I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to see the draw, those that took part in the giveaway. And we've had some amazing comments from everyone on the 3 questions. So I will be using those to essentially address some of the gaps that, well, not gaps, but just more of the content that people would like to see, the characters they love. And for those of you who don't know, we do already that giveaway is going to be for a whole collection of 2000 AD books, which includes the first appearance of Judge Dredd himself from Prog 2. Very expensive book, which we will be giving away to one lucky winner today. So again, stay tuned for that slightly later in the show. I did want to shout out to our members. I'm just going to bring them up. We've had a number of new members. And for those of you who didn't join our show on Saturday, my time, Friday evening, we did another live sketch giveaway. And 2 of our members this week won a sketch for the next show. So stay tuned for that. And if you haven't already, please consider joining the price variants, where all the proceeds go to the Hero Initiative, which is a charity that gives back to creators that are in need medical bills, etc. So if you can and you'd like to see more content like this, be it a chance to win a sketch card, by all means, please join us. I'd like to shout out to my members as well: Simple Simon, Brian LCS, Easyverse NYC, Mad Spidey, Dead Man Comic Cover Show, Rob Fat Stacks of Comics, Omnibo, and our 5 new members: Canadian Survivalist, Cliff on Comics, Heroes for Hire Comic Club, Wayne Deacon, and Matt Likes Comics. Very, very kindly donated by Rob in one of my previous live streams. So again, shout out to Rob. It was very, very generous and absolutely super touched by that. But again, memberships, you can see that in the description down below if you would like to join us. So with that, let's go to the comments. Oh my gosh, 22 already. Wow. So we have SideQuests Comics in the house. It is a pleasure to see you. Welcome. We've got Mr. Akins. What's on the comic rack? Oh my gosh, this is a pleasure and a privilege. Very rarely gets a chance to join, so it's lovely to see you, sir. Been a while. We've got Wayne Deacon, one of our new members, so congratulations. I think Wayne as well, you're in this draw too. So hopefully, fingers crossed. We have JSS Brooklyn, again, another one of the people that made it into the list. So again, hopefully, John, you have some luck riding with you today. Let's just keep going through. John's Comics with Kids. Hello, John. Oh my gosh, it's great to see you too, mate. Thank you for joining. And let me just see if we've got all the way through. Tate Prime is here. Hello, Tate. Great. Always a pleasure. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. And let me scroll through. Omnibo's here again, another one in the list for the giveaway. And thank you for joining me on the sketch show yesterday, mate. I got you on mute, mate. I'm at work. Can you mime what you're saying? Giveaway. Well done. So who else do we have? I think that's it. I think we're good. We're good. And of course, Mr. Aiken, in his capacity as moderator, is throwing links in for everyone. So thank you very much for doing that. Much appreciated. Right. Let's switch to the overhead camera and let's go through some of these books and then we'll switch to the giveaway. So if I remember how to do this, I need to add. No, that's the wrong one. That's the right one. Let's bring it up to the main screen. Okay. I'll share this to start. Now, some of you will know that I have a thing about finding out about this crazy little piece of memorabilia. Nightcat, the failed reinvention of a singer / superhero. So I picked this up relatively cheap. Another piece to go in my Nightcat collection. This is the Nightcat card drawn by none other than himself, Jim Lee, who apparently created Nightcat, or at least the look for Nightcat. So you have him to blame for all of those risque photos, given the design of the costume. So there you have it. That's going in for a future video all about the legend, the myth that is Nightcat. I'm not sure what's on the back there, but I think it's one of those pictures that they bring together. Andy B, first time catching you live. Congrats on 2,000 subs. Thank you very much. As I say, it's a complete surprise. Didn't think we'd be here. I've been on the channel now, I think one year, 4 months. So huge thanks. And just, yeah, we'll keep pumping out that content and hopefully more of you will turn up. But there you go. First off, bit of breakfast for me, bit of Nightcat. Can't go wrong. There is so much more Nightcat I need to share with you, but that will be for a future show. Okay, this is what you came here for. So let's zoom back out, or zoom in. There you go. Let's get it. There you go. This is What If number 2. Now, a bit of background on these. I got these from Bronze and Modern Gods. And we're actually not going to do the usual stuff, which is just show you a cover. I'm going to go through some of these books because I have fond memories of What If, because they were reprinted in the back of Marvel UK magazine. So, as I say, most people just show covers. We're going to do something a little different. We always try and do something a little bit different. Yes, let me just bring up John's comment. 35. The back of the card is part of a puzzle. Correct. Like the old Bubblecom cards, where you'd have like a piece them all together, and you get yourself a larger picture. I will not be collecting the rest of that set. I literally only wanted to get Nightcat, and for very good reason. She is perhaps the most influential and important superhero that you've ever come across. So we will have more on Madame Nightcat and Jacqueline Torres in the coming weeks and months. So there you go. So this is issue number 2. As I say, I got this from from John, at Bronze and Modern Gods, winning one of his claim sales. Records around about a 9294. So yeah, as I say, I've been looking to pick up the What If run. I'll be slowly but surely going through it. But wanted to share it with you because fantastic front cover here. Love this one. In terms of what if the Hulk had the brain of Bruce Banner, and 50 cents, a bit larger than your normal stuff. But what you get inside is what's key. A great little story, which I went back and reread yesterday. And it was a joy going back and reading these books. I don't know about you all in the chat, but you've got to read your comics. You can't just put them in your bags and boards. You've got to read them. So I did go through and read this again and was reminded, and I forgot it was a Herb Trimpe story, which tells the story, obviously, sets the scene with the Hulk on a rampage in his normal state with this fabulous double-page spread here, which opens up with the credits. So Roy Thomas was the writer and editor, with Herb Trimpe obviously on art. But I absolutely love that amazing splash, double page splash. It's fantastic. If you love What If, I love the What If. This is some side quest. I love the What If series. Very fun reads that you don't have to worry about continuity and such. And that's the piece that I do like about them. Some of the stories I remember from my youth when they were in those reprints in Marvel Comics. This one was always one of my favorites, and that stunning cover worked for me first of all. But then at the time, I was like not really sure on the artwork. I was never a huge fan of Herb Trimpe as I grew up, but I've really come to appreciate his work over the years and the legend that he was. And as you see here, we get to go through a comic book in its traditional form with all these beautiful ads. Slim Jims. Who remembers Slim Jims, eh? Everyone remembers Slim Jims. They were everywhere. And Joe, I can get a body just like Joe if I want. For how much? How much was it cost me? $3.98. Don't think I'd pay the $3.98. It'd be automatically there, but I can use my stretchy thing to get myself some extra muscle and be quite Hulk-like. We have Vincent, long-term viewer, and joins the stream very much, quite a lot. So thank you, Vincent, for dropping by. Always good to see you too. So let's have a look. So it starts off in the usual, Hulk on a rampage, gets to the mountain, sits down, and then he's watched over by, again, a great splash page of the Watcher here, looking over the Hulk, and then tells a story of a different world where the Bruce's origin story, same as usual, saves Rick Jones and is transformed into the Hulk. And at first you think the story is rolling as normal. Here we go. Look at that. Spider-Man, Twinkies, Hostess cupcakes, not Twinkies. Used to love these ads for those of you that have never seen those. Those were a mainstay in most Marvel comic books, and I used to love the little sort of mini stories you get for one page. How generally something was happening, Spider-Man or the relevant hero fought the criminals, and they all ended up eating Twinkies. Hostess cupcakes. But here you sort of realize that, in the old world, Hulk would go on a rampage, but in this, he changes and he still has his brain. So he goes about slight changes to the usual story, but again, he goes about his way and solves problems using his brain rather than his brawn. So helps the gargoyle here. Look at that. Front face Marvelites, super shields. Got a little bit of toys and games here. We've got a Spidey car and the Captain America and these super shield badges that you can pick up. And again, it's what's nice about this story is that you get to rerun the original Hulk story, but see it from the view where he can change into the Hulk and still retain his brain power, marries Betty Ross as the two, and then meets the Fantastic Four and starts helping the Fantastic Four in terms of how they're going to solve things. Again, more great house ads. Subscribe to Marvel. So fantastic here. And they look again to try and solve the thing, turning back to Ben Grimm, which the joint powers of Bruce Banner and Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, managed to do so. Also tells the story of the Avengers and how Hulk instead manages to get rid of the essentially the dynamite that was going to blow up the bridge, which brings them all together. But they obviously still come together. Then we are introduced to, of course, Professor X, Xavier, as well. And we have Galactus. So again, retelling of some of these classic moments in Marvel history. Now you've got Bruce Banner and Reed Richards trying to come up with a way to defeat him. Hulk turns into his new brain form. Professor Xavier in a spaceship tries to tackle him, and they create this entity between the three of them, combined strength, combined mind, combined might, to take on I Am the X-Man. And this X-Man, unfortunately, is a little bit more brutish than actually the Hulk, and tries to take on Galactus, succeeds in doing so. And then, unfortunately, the twist in this tale is that there's some damage to the Baxter building, and Thing is transformed back. Ben Grimm is transformed back into the Thing, and for the benefit of this universe, becomes essentially the new Hulk, the menace of the Thing rampaging across the country. So I loved this story when I first saw it and it came out. So very happy to share that one with you. Early what ifs. Again, I think they're still relatively cheap in terms of these books, but I wanted to pick them up because I think, these are what we primarily grew up on. So that's a good one for you. As you can see here, it's in reasonable condition. I give it a clean and press. May submit at some point. There's not a lot of value in doing so, but for now, it's staying in the raw pile, and looking forward to having that in the collection. And then to follow it up, as I say, got these relatively cheap. I think they were $13 from John. So 9.4 grade. You can see they're in very, very good condition. So I also picked up a copy of What If Avengers #3. And as you can see here, art on the interior, story by Jim Shooter, and nose drawer extraordinaire Gil Kane. So what if the Avengers had never been? It's got Klaus Janson on inks as well. So this will be an interesting one, going through and seeing what we get for our money. And again, it sort of has a little retelling of the status quo of the Avengers and how they first met and how they came together. But then, oh, look, even in the space of one issue, there's an extra $1 to get your body designed to look just like that. So they obviously realize that they need to sort of up their prices, even in the space of one issue. So another $1. I think it's like today, everything's a little pricey. Let's have a look in the chat and see who else has joined. So let's see. I don't think we have anyone new, which is good, and no comments that really go. Let's see. Yeah, no, nothing. So let's keep going through here. Gil Kane is one of those. I think Warlord of Mars was the ones that I remember him most. But yes, the thing about Gil Kane is extraordinary artist, but it was this up the nose shot that he seemed to be very popular with, and you'll see a lot of those. His faces always gave away when he was the artist on this piece. So again, a retelling of the story, but with some minor changes. We've got obviously Captain America this time with the Hostess cupcakes fighting a whole bunch of monsters unleashed from an archaic laboratory. But wonderful to see. Didn't actually get a chance to read this one, but you can see that Iron Man here as a central story is getting more power. While we're here, we'll look at these amazing t-shirts. So if only I could go back in time and pick up some of these, because they're fantastic. We've got the bicentennial t-shirt up here, which would be a good one to own. The rest are all covers, so you could probably do that yourself today and still get it on a t-shirt with these sort of prints. But that bicentennial one is probably the one I would go with out of that selection. How much are they each? It doesn't actually say. Oh no, there you go, $4.19 plus 60 cents. So I'll gladly pay that now if it came about. There's a great splash of Iron Man attacking the Hulk there. And again, there's your famous Gil Kane up the nose shot. Wouldn't be a Gil Kane issue without an up the nose shot, to be perfectly honest. And again, great art. Let's just click through here. Very, very dynamic art. Very love this sort of fighting, especially between Iron Man. It seems we have a color issue on that page with a blue Iron Man. So I'm not sure if that's goes throughout all the issues actually. So although I think that's his new blue colored armor, to be perfectly frank, unless they've got the colors wrong. Yeah, it seems to me that midway, and maybe I get myself a no prize. So for those of you who don't know, you can get no prizes if you spot continuity errors in Marvel Comics back in the day. I would imagine that this was, if this is a mistake, or maybe they're more different types of Iron Men, I might have gone for my no prize, given the colouring. So you've got a green one and a blue one, apparently. So Hulk smashing the blue one. Maybe they're Anthony Stark robots to go alongside. But very action-packed issue. Unfortunately, seems to see the death of Iron Man at the end. So not a great ending to the story. Most of these ended in some way, shape, or form with either a twist or one of the characters dying. But the great thing is that you didn't have to worry about continuity. So always great to see that. I think the What If books was the first Marvel title I bought, as well as regular Daredevil. Nice one, Deadman Comic Cover Show. Great to see you. Great to see you. Please reach out to me on Instagram, because we have the price variance group, and love to have you on it. You think you're the only one I could not find an IG. So if you can reach out, then we can add you to the group and you can see a lot of the stuff that's coming up. We'll just see we have a few other great people joining us. So we have, let's just go through. Vincent's obviously here. I've just seen Deadman Comic Cover, as we just said. Good day. We've got Derek. Good to see you too, Derek. And I think that's our lot in terms of, oh no, of course, Cliff on Comics. Welcome, Cliff. It'd be great to see you too. All right, so that's my copy of What If Avengers Had Never Been. And then one slightly later in the run to share with you. Let's say I like digging in and opening these up so everyone gets a chance to have a look at them rather than just the usual stuff of, and again, this is a sort of 9.4 candidate, decent copy. I think again, picked this up for 13 from John. This is What If Doctor Strange Were a Disciple of Dormammu, issue 18. 75 cents now rather than the 50 cents. So you can see below. And then art on this one, story by Peter Gillis, art by Tom Sutton with inks by Bruce Patterson. I won't dwell too much on the story. I haven't had a chance to go through it. Let's turn the pages, have a look at the art and see. Oh my gosh, it's Hubba Bubba. Good old classic art for Hubba Bubba alongside Spider-Man meeting June Jitsu. Never heard of June Jitsu, so whether or not, let me know in the comments if June Jitsu actually existed as a character or was created specifically for, of all things, the ones I do remember, Twinkie cakes. Yep, she's beating him up, and the way that Spider-Man solves the problem is to give her a couple of packets of Hostess Twinkie cakes. So we're all good now. She's happy. Captured and a full stomach. Got a bit of Doctor Doom here. And that's the thing that I also liked, is they could play with as many characters as they liked with these What If books. I mean, we've even got Eternity back in there. I have Agamotto. But yeah, I like the art on this. Just great to see. And he's making out with Umar. And yes, serving the great Dormammu. Not something you would expect Stephen Strange to do. But here he is with Eternity here. Let's keep going through. There might be a bit of background noise, folks, because we are just having, surprise, surprise, diggers in the backyard. So, yeah, just be aware there might be a little bit of noise. But, yeah, I will give this a full proper read, but wanted to flick through it with you. Oh, look, this is nice. Follow us for fun and adventure every Saturday morning on ABC TV. So we've got DC, the world's greatest super friends, Superman, Batman and Robin, Wonder Woman, Justice League faces a weekly battle with the dastardly Legion of Doom. Plastic Man's in there, and a Spider-Woman brand new show, all on Saturdays on ABC. As I say, one of my favourite things about reading these comic books is you can go and read the stories on a lot of these digital platforms, but it's the ads that always made it. And talking of ads, one of my favourite characters, Rom the Space Knight, from Bill Mantlo and Sal Buscema, was a massive fan of this title. I will be doing a future show on Rom the Space Knight, a big title that I used to love as I was growing up. And then on top of that, you get the great electronic toy ad alongside the promotion for the first issue. The first issue, by the way, came with a Frank Miller cover of all things, not Sal Buscema. So lucky enough to have a number of these Rom figures to go along the comics, but we will be doing a show on Rom in the future. But I've always loved that little ad there for the toy and the comic book. So that's another great one to share with you. And I thought I'd share a couple of others that have come in this week. Maybe not take them out. Oh, maybe I will take them out. It's a day for showing you inside the books. So this was from Future Past Vintage Collectibles. This is Hulk 243. We'll have a flick through this one and give you a sense of what's in here. This is at the period where Hulk was on the TV show. So great to see. I just love that little sort of badge. And all of those badges I'm going to start using on thumbnails because I think they really add a little bit of level of interest. So, yeah. On those ads, so SideQuest comments, love the Saturday morning cartoon ads. Me too, mate. Me too. And then we got, remember also the craft show. I do not. Anyone in the chat who knows about that and wants to sort of give a little bit of background for everyone, I'd be more than happy. Again, this is the other problem. Living in the UK, all of this stuff meant nothing because we never got to see it other than when it was syndicated. So let me know in the comments or the chat. So this one had Roger Stern on plot, Stephen Grant on script, and Sal Buscema on art. So my favorite Rom artist. I liked Sal Buscema's art. Don't know about you in the chat, but I again, it was my sort of era of comic books, and I love his Savage Hulk. He drew a fantastic Savage Hulk in my mind. I mean, if you can look here at his face, he was very much so, could really show across the anger or the savageness of the character. And I just love the way he added a lot of dynamism to panels. So I think he's one of the underrated artists, quite frankly. We get an appearance of a Celestial in here as well. Another Rom ad for you. Or you can never go wrong with a Rom ad. Not on the back cover this time, but on the paper. But yeah, I think during this period, I think Sal Buscema was drawing a lot of the Hulk. I think from late 100s through to this sort of period. And you got, again, multiple guest stars. We've got Power Man and Iron Fist in here. And then a center page ad spread for Star Wars. So let's just see again. This was 1979. So Empire Strikes Back hadn't come out at this point. And then Kenner had managed to get their act together in terms of pumping out all this stuff. So you can see amazing selection of toys here. This new Star Wars Imperial Troop Transporter. You got the Land of the Jawas Sandcrawler. You'd got a remote-controlled R2-D2, Star Wars Creature Cantina, the Star Wars die-cast models, which I adored. Loved those, so super happy to see them. So the craft show was an anthology of live-action shows like Electro Woman and Dino Girl, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, the Bugaloos, HR Puff and stuff. Huh. I don't think we got that where I was, but good to know. But here you go. Oh, love it. I think it's an ads issue this week, sorry. Mego introduces Elastic Hulk and Spider-Man. So you can now tie up your favorite superheroes in knots. Anyone have any of these? I know I had Stretch Armstrong. Never really attempted to do that with my figures, but they weren't known for sort of lasting, but wouldn't have minded. I might see if I can get one of those. I'm pretty impressed and interested in it. You got another Star Wars ad, so Star Wars was well and truly in the go. And another ad yet again for Rom the Space Knight. And then this month's Twinkies hostess ad is for fruit pies with the Human Torch versus the Ice Master. And the only way to thaw him out is to give him some fruit pies. So always good. And they were really pushing Rom. 3 ads in one issue. And there's your little preview for Rom there. So again, it's probably, given the fact that Sal was doing the art on those, made sense to involve him and give him more love. And then probably to close us off on the books for today, we've got another one of these Hulk issues. This is 244 to go along 243, so it's continuation of that story. Let's just get this one. Looks like it's super high grade. Great cover by Al Milgrom here. And I think the previous one was Al Milgrom too. Yep. Stephen Grant on story. This time Carmen Infantino on penciler with Mike Esposito as inker. So this should be interesting. Again, Carmen Infantino is a bit of a polarizing artist. I really enjoy him. I remember his work on Star Wars. So it's great to have that. Let's just see what the comment says. I had the Hulk one till I ripped him open and the gel leaked. I discovered the breaking point. Oh, I'm so sad to hear that. They were very sensitive. I think my Stretch Armstrong went the same way as you. Were they made by the same company is probably the question. What's funny is the whole show was actually used to promote Captain Cool and the Kongs, which sadly went nowhere. That's referring back to, I think, what was the name of the show again that we were talking about earlier. So, yeah, Captain Cool, maybe we'll see him one day, and then there'll be a huge amount of spec. Was there ever a comic book for Captain Cool and the crew? I'd think not. And then we have more of the same here. Let's just flick through this before we jump over to the giveaway and celebrate. And I'll bring the books up again for who's win. We got an ad for Mego dolls, folks. Mego superhero dolls, hats, utility belts, even Hot Wheels super Hot Wheels Marvel style too. For some of you who saw my previous show, you would know that I've picked up or managed to pick up a Amazing Spider-Man Mego doll in its original box, immaculate. So very happy to get those. Didn't pay $12.99, unfortunately, or $4.99 for each of the figures. But yeah, great. These are the 8-inch dolls. I think the one I've got is a 12-inch one. But yeah, if you can get a Mego figure, pick your character. Not cheap anymore. Then we have another Star Wars ad, this time with a few other extra toys. So we got the Droid Factory. We've got the Death Star that I think every kid wanted with its trash compactor. Always interesting to think nowadays that none of those playsets ever came with figures. So you'd spend all this money on this expensive playset and then had to buy the figures separately, which it's always the bane of existence for my parents. They were never very happy with having to do that. And you can see the difference here in terms of the art. I find Carmen Infantino's art not as dynamic, obviously, as Sal Buscema. It's very Marvel, what I perceive as the Marvel way. This is sort of relatively functional art in this issue for the Hulk. So I'm not sure how much fun Carmen Infantino had drawing that. We got a subscription offer from Christmas. Again, another ad for ROM. We keep pushing that Space Knight. And another ad for ROM. And a Hulk defeating. And again, another ad for ROM. Yeah, I think ROM was, they were pushing him really hard. And rightly so. It was a good story. Even if it was a toy that failed. And then one of my favorite Hostess Twinkie ads with this gold digger guy who for some reason was intangible as well, fighting Mr. Fantastic. And lo and behold, yet another ROM ad. So we get 4 ROM ads in this one, and an ad for Crazy as well, and a nice ad for your DC heroes and their vehicles. I seem to recall those. I think I may have had. I definitely had the Superman jet here with the fists on the front, which I always thought was funny. And I think I may have had the Batmobile too. So these were pretty cool from Corgi. So again, one of the things I really love about these comics, I'll go back and reread these over the next few days. But yeah, the thing that I love about these, picking up these books and just digging through them, it's just all of the old house ads. I think that's more of the charm sometimes than actually reading the books themselves, is seeing what comes in these ads. And maybe I'll do a piece on that, because I think it's a fascinating one around what ads we get. So that's it for the books today. I wanted to keep it short and sweet because obviously we have our giveaway. I'm going to go back to the main screen. Switch me onto the main screen if I can get it to work. Now let's do it this way. There we go. Now we can go back to this. So we will bring up our illustrious wheel of success. Let me just have a look at the comments before we move on. Let's see. Let's see. Looks like you're about to see the Flash in that Hulk book too. Yep, definitely. The Croft Superstars were by Gold Key. Good to know. Matt, as Thanos said, you're not the only one cursed with knowledge. Was Carmine working for DC and Marvel at the same time? Now, I don't know. I would assume not. Normally, they're under contract to one or the other and just moved about in those early days. I think Carmen Infantino was actually the editor at DC. So I think at that point he'd moved on and so was back to a penciler at hire. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't think so. But I may be mistaken. And again, keep me honest. The Croft Superstar Show, apologies, 6 issues, 1978 to 1979. Might have to dig in there. I still have my Darth Vader set. This is some side quests. It's a bit worn, and I think the foam for the crash compactor is all dried up. I did see one of those in one of my toy videos here in Melbourne. Someone here had one in Melbourne and still had the sealed trash compactor foam, so it wasn't damaged or dried up, which I was amazed about. And I think he was like asking, can't remember from the top of my head, very expensive money, but he had the full thing, including, I'm going to butcher this, the Denager that was in the trash compactor with them. Dead Man Comic shows fired in 1975. That's just for Carmen Infantino. He's fired in 1985, went back to DC in 1978. He worked for Marvel in between, hence the reason for these stories here. Yes, and again, most notably, I remember him for working on, I think, Nova and also Nova and Star Wars. We've got Mark from Legion of Comics. Hello, Mark. It's great to see you, mate. Thank you so much. And saying hello to the chat too. And we are up to date. So let's get this draw on the road. Let's see who's won these 2000 AD books, and I'll bring them up in a second. Let's see. Where are we at now? It's 8:13. Wheel of names. So in total, we had JSS Brooklyn made the cut, put comments on all the 3 different social media networks, so Facebook, on Instagram, and on the YouTube video. We got Duncan McIntosh, Wayne Deacon, Up and Adam Comics, Big Money Grip MCV, Vlogs made the cut, Lettuce Comics, Hagen at Lettuce Comics, Omnibo from Aussieverse, and Andy from England. So in honor of the fact that it's the 2000 giveaway, we're going to shuffle this 20 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let's give it a spin and see who is going to get these 2000 AD books, including that Prog 2 featuring the first World. Ooh, who is it going to be? Lettuce Comics. Congratulations, Hagen. That is amazing. It was touch and go there for a minute. It could have been Up and Adam Comics. So close. But congratulations, Hagen. I will get that off in the post. I'm in the US, as I say, in the next couple of weeks. So I will endeavor to get that across to you whilst I'm there. But congratulations, mate. That's absolutely great. And thank you for everyone that entered. You're all winners in my book for staying with the channel and supporting us. So thank you very much. As I mentioned, I'm just going to bring this off the screen. But again, congratulations, Hagen, Lettuce Comics. Let's remove that. Oh, no, sorry, add stage. Remove that. Congratulations. You're now the proud owner of a 2000 AD Prog 2. That's awesome. So I will get those to you as soon as I can. Just to give you a bit of a heads up, as I mentioned, I am going to the US. I'm hopefully catching up with a few other YouTubers while I'm over there. So I'm going to WonderCon next weekend. So if you're in Anaheim and you're at the event and you see me around, please make sure to grab me and say hi. I'd love to see you. And with that, that's the end of this show. We'll be coming live from California next week for the show. I'll be sharing the books that I've picked up from WonderCon and from my locker back in the US. So a lot of content to share with you, but thank you all so much for joining today. Thank you all for the support in getting to 2,000 subs. It's absolutely amazing. Onwards and upwards. Let's see what we can do for the next target. But thank you all so much for joining. It's been great having you all in the chat. I will see you, as I say, next week with some special guests. I'm hopeful. I will be definitely pumping into Rob Fatstacks and John from Bronze and Modern Gods. But as I say, if you're out there, let me know in the comments down below. And hopefully I'll get to see you there. And with that, take care of yourselves. I will see you very, very soon. and see you live from California.